The network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, REDAC, remains determined to drag Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Atanganji Paul, to court over accusations that the non-governmental organization received close to 5 billion francs CFA to destabilize the Republic of Cameroon. You will hear the board chair of the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, Barrister Alice Kam, in this newscast. And bike riders take to the streets, invading the central police station in Gaoundéré in the Adamawa region of the Republic of Cameroon over administrative measures taken restricting the circulation of motorbikes across the region at late hours of the night. And the town of Bamenda and of course other parts of Anglophone Cameroon remain ghosted today. And in some parts of Anglophone Cameroon, the ghost town was relatively effective. Some areas were busy today as compared to the past. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. We begin right away in Gaoundéré in the Adamawa region of the Republic of Cameroon, where hundreds of motorbike riders took to the streets today, and they were protesting against an administrative decision taken last year. And the commercial motorbike riders in Gaoundéré in the Adamawa region invaded the central police station, and they were protesting against the seizure of over 50 motorbikes by forces of law and order. Last night, the motorbike riders accused of having violated an administrative decision of February 8, 2019 banning the circulation of motorbikes across the Adamawa region. As from 10 p.m. at least one person was injured in the confrontations between the angry bikers and the police officers, who used bullets and other weapons to disperse the angry protesters who stormed the central police station in Gaoundéré, vandalizing some vehicles in the premises of the police station and also attacking some police officers, according to the governor of the Adamawa region of the country. And the measure taken in February 2019, according to the governor, was intended to to curb insecurity and high crime wave in that part of the Republic of Cameroon. And in the northwest region, administrative authorities have also taken similar measures, banning the circulation of motorbikes in over six divisions of the region at late hours of the night. And this measure is equally taken to put an end, or better still, to curb the atrocities that have been committed. Some of the atrocities are committed by people on motorbikes. Bustela in Bamenda reports that this decision is yet to be fully implemented on the ground.
The governor's release of the 13th of March 2020 is yet to be enforced by the security forces. The restriction, the governor restricts motorbike circulation in 6 out of the 7 divisions that make up the northwest region. The divisions include Boyo, Gokutunja, Momo, Mezam, Menchum, and Bui, except Donga Mantung. And the governor says the resurgence of criminality with the enforcement of motorbikes has prompted the recent decision restricting the motorbike circulation in these 6 divisions. Bamenda is this Monday also observing the ghost town, partly in Bamenda too, where the market, that is the main market at the Tarinkon, were not open this Monday due to the ghost town phenomenon, as a majority of the population have opted to stay home. That notwithstanding, the governor and the commander of the 5th Gendarmerie Region, General Équinoxe Tv, led a routine spot walk this morning with aims at sensitizing the population against the ghost town phenomenon. It is the farming season, Babila, and many inhabitants are using these Mondays to work on their farms, while others are organizing clean things to tidy their neighborhoods. This was the case of the Sisia quarter this Monday. Bamenda is being plunged in the ghost town, and the economists have evaluated the damage at billions of francs CFA.
A correspondent in the Northwest Regional Chief Town, Bustela, reporting there, and a correspondent in the Southwest Region, Derek Jato, indicates that the ghost town was not very effective today as compared to the past in the town of Boya areas like Bongo Square and of course Clark's Quarters and other parts of the town. Mile 17, Mile 16 were not as ghosted, so to speak, as it has been the case in the past. However, the streets were deserted. The streets was not as busy as an ordinary period or before 2016 when the crisis actually started. And the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, REDAC, is determined to track the country's Minister of Territorial Administration, Atanganji Paul, to court over accusations that the non-governmental organization and others received close to 5 billion francs CFA to destabilize Cameroon through its reports on the Gadbu incident, on the Anglophone crisis generally, reports that have been qualified by the Minister of Territorial Administration as fake. And the network of human rights defenders sees the statements of Minister Tanganji Paul as simply lies. According to the non-governmental organization, Barrister Alice Komboche of REDAC was speaking to us in La Verite Face over the weekend on Equinoxe Television. Listen to her.
We are very credible because our reports are very seriously examined by very serious institutions around the world who are competent to do that. They are not party in the issue. They are neutral, and they need to have very credible information before giving their own statement.
When the minister says REDAC, for example, and other NGOs have received over 5 billion francs CFA to destabilize Cameroon, why is it that you guys go most often pointing fingers at the defense and security forces in your reports, be it in the Northwest and Southwest regions or in the Far North region?
This is such a big lie that I cannot accept this from someone who is an authority in my country, a member of a government. This is such a big lie that we have decided to take him to court and to come with all his proofs and to show the whole world how we got this money. This is why we must take him to the court. We cannot afford to leave people with such a big lie in their head. In our country, we are seen as enemies of the country by those who serve us, who are paid to serve us peacefully.
And the governor of the Northwest region, Adolphe Lafrique, his collaborators and top military officials in the region are stepping up the fight against Operation Ghost Town, and they are using spots to sensitize the people on the negative impact of Operation Ghost Town and why they should stop respecting Operation Ghost Town imposed by pro-independence fighters in Anglophone Cameroon. The governor and some top military officials and other military personnel went through the town of Bamenda today, carrying out some sporting activities and of course sensitizing the people on the need to stop respecting Operation Ghost Town. Take a listen to the recently elected mayor of the town of Bamenda in this extract.
Walk, and I want to tell everybody here that it's good for your health. It's good, it builds you up, it strengthens you, and it helps you perspire and passes out of you those things which are not really good for the system. So, as the city mayor of the Bamenda city, I would like to encourage and pass on to everyone that a healthy person guarantees a healthy city. So,
the city mayor of Bamenda speaking there, and one of the honorable members of parliament recently elected in the northwest region of the country, Ngala Gerard, said that his priority is to push for laws in the lower house of parliament, laws that will restore peace and normalcy in Anglophone Cameroon, and of course step up the development of the country. He was speaking to us today shortly after he and his peers received the attributes at the Ngwaikele Hemicycle today. And also Honorable Tombi Gladys spoke to Equinoxe Television, and one of the persons who attracted the attention of almost everybody in the Hemicycle today is the outgoing Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Kavayeke Jibril, and this is because he has not been present in the country for a while now. He was out of the country for medical reasons, and he just came back. And one of the things that are raising questions as far as Honorable Kavayeke Jibril is concerned is the fact that he didn't go through the 14-day quarantine period imposed by health officials in Cameroon for all those coming into the country. And he was also part of a flight from France, which the Minister of Public Health, Manauda Malachi, said all those who were in that flight expected to come and present themselves and be submitted or subjected to a 14-day quarantine period, but the House Speaker did not go through that. He was in the Hemicycle today during the ceremony of the handing over of attributes to the members of Parliament. Take a listen to Honorable Ngala Gerard and Etumbi Gladys.
Cameroon flag desage signifies a lot. It means that we are ready to work for the country. And I'm somebody who have dedicated my life to this country. I have to work for this country. We have to advance the democracy of this country. So at the same time, I have mixed emotions because I want my boys, my brothers and sisters in the bushes, in the north and south, to come out of the bushes so that we can help build our country. So I have mixed emotions of joy and sadness because I know that some of our brothers are in the bushes and I'm calling on them to come out. We need to build a country. We are ready to vote laws that will impact the lives of Cameroonians. We are ready to vote laws that will advance the democracy, especially laws that will affect positively the teachers, our health facilities, our road works, infrastructures. At least we want to make the country look different through this 10th legislature. I cannot say what the bureau will look like because it's at the discretion of the party. So there are various political parties that will be presenting their candidate. CBDM, of course, will be presenting its candidate, and that was the discussion of our national chairman.
This day had to come because it's the beginning of the 10th legislature, and I want to thank God that I am part of the 10th legislature, and I continue to promise my people that I will continue to be their servant, and I will work with them, and together we are going to go places and make our community even better than it has always been.
What do you expect? What do you expect for the next composition of the bureau, for example?
Well, whatever God has planned will come to pass. I'm a parliamentarian, and every one of us has the opportunity to become whatever. And so we leave it into God's hands, and we live one day at a time.
Honorable Ngala Gerard from the Donga-Mantum Division, Northwest Region of Cameroon, and Honorable Tombi Gladys from the Fako Division in the Southwest Region of the country, speaking to Equinoxe Television after having received their attributes at the Hemicycle. And the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, Right Reverend Samuel Funky Foba has urged Christians of the church and all Christians to rise up and pray and of course work for the nation, for the stability and unity of the nation. He was speaking during a Thanksgiving service in Boya in the Southwest region, and during that service the senior clerk of the PCC was also installed. Derijato.
During the theme of his Thanksgiving ceremony from Revelation chapter 3 verse 2, the Right Reverend Funky Samuel Foba, moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, in his homily stressed why the church must wake up and watch out.
Time has come, dear brothers and sisters, for us to wake up, especially now that we see popular opinion accepting wrong as right and right as wrong. We must wake up and turn on the light inside when everything outside seems dark. Time must come for us to change the world. It is time that we either stand up as a true Christian of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, or else you fall for anything.
And a country like Cameroon at the crossroad don't need but might to come back on its feet, but the principle of righteousness.
The restoration of Cameroon does not rest in a booming economy, or smarter politicians, or a great military presence. No! Rather, it lies in the restoration of God's principles of righteousness in the heart and lives of the people of Cameroon.
And President Paul Biya was represented at this Thanksgiving ceremony by Southwest Governor Bernard Okalia-Bilai and Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute. Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government was represented by Minister Director of Cabinet at the Prime Minister's office, Ebone Confiance, as this sixth moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon thanked God for his second mandate. Then the induction ritual of Reverend Mickey Hans Abia as the Synod Clerk of the PCC, which was officiated by the moderator.
Do you promise to carry out your pastoral ministry as Synod Clerk of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon faithfully and responsibly, in accordance with all the vows and promises you made at your ordination, and as you can dare to give account before the judgment seat of Christ?
I promise, God being my helper.
And as both men of God promise to continue the Lord's work on earth, the 30 presbyteries, 567 clergy serving in 1,553 congregations, and with a membership of 1.5 million that made up the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, we are reminded to remember them in their prayers.
And the number of cases of the coronavirus confirmed are increasing in the Republic of Cameroon. The Minister of Public Health, Manauda Malachi, has confirmed a fifth case of the coronavirus in the Cameroon, and public health authorities are urging Cameroonians and all persons living in Cameroon to strictly respect all rules of hygiene, all preventive measures that have been recommended by medics. And of course, we have details in this report compiled by Innocent Azi.
On Friday, March 6th, Cameroon's Public Health Minister announced the first case of the COVID-19 in Yaoundé. Health officials said it was discovered in a French national who arrived the country February 24th. The 58-year-old man, according to Minister Manauda Malachi, was immediately placed in solidarity confinement in a special hospital in Yaoundé. The health boss ordered for surveillance measures to be put in place and called on Cameroonians to be calm. Minister Malachi said health officials are treating those the patient came in contact with since he arrived Cameroon. Few hours after, same day, a second case of the coronavirus was registered. Public Health Minister indicated it was a Cameroonian who came in contact with the first case, the French national. In a communique, the minister said both cases have been isolated at the Yaoundé General Hospital, where they are receiving proper care. Minister Malachi urged Cameroonians to be more vigilant and observe more than ever the recommended hygiene rules to prevent the spread of the deadly coronavirus. He also exhorted those who have been in contact with the two infected persons to call the number 1510 for checks, including those who have been in infected countries. 8 days after, the Public Health Minister released a communique announcing a third case of the coronavirus in Cameroon. In the release, he explained it involved a 56-year-old Cameroonian citizen living in Italy who arrived Cameroon on March 7 after passing through France. This case was detected by a surveillance system put in place by the Health Ministry, and the patient immediately quarantined. Minister Malachi urged the people from countries at risk and their respective families to take more responsibility to facilitate the response mechanism and protect the community. They are recommended to observe a quarantine of 14 days before any activity and contact with anybody. On Sunday, March 15th, the Public Health Ministry confirmed a fourth case of COVID-19 in Cameroon. The suspect patient was identified Saturday. He was on flight SN Brussels from France and immediately confined at the Jamon Hospital. Early Monday, March 16th, the Public Health Boss announced confirmation of a fifth case. The carrier, being a woman he knows, was returning from France. He instructed mobilization of Cameroonians to stop the spread of this epidemic, while noting the number of cases could rise in the days ahead.
And the French ambassador to Cameroon has banned all journeys of the personnel of the embassy abroad. And according to a tweet by the French ambassador, all personnel of the embassy coming from France are now compelled to go through a 14-day quarantine period. Increasing numbers of African countries confirming coronavirus cases, prompting many to announce measures to control the spread of the virus. And Ghana is the latest nation to ban entry to foreign visitors from countries badly impacted by the disease. Earlier, South Africa declared a state of disaster, closing its borders to foreign nationals from countries badly impacted by the disease. And the ban include China, Italy, Iran, Spain, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America. And Kenya has also imposed sweeping travel restrictions, blocking entry to all travelers coming from countries with reported cases. And yesterday, the government confirmed the second case, or two cases of coronavirus, taking the total number in Kenya to 3. And in Djibouti, which has no confirmed case, has suspended all international flights. Tanzania, which also has no confirmed case, has cancelled flights to India. And in Tunisia, Prime Minister Els Fakhfakh has ordered the closure of all borders and a ban on large gatherings, including congregation prayers in mosque. And Tunisia has confirmed 20 cases of the virus. Mozambique's president Philippe Nyusi has suspended all gatherings of 300 people and more. He has also suspended all foreign travel by state officials, including his own visit to Equatorial Guinea and Palestinian territories that were scheduled for later this month. As of now, 26 African countries have been confirmed cases of the coronavirus, including, of course, Morocco, which has also suspended all international flights from its airport. The North African state has 28 cases of the coronavirus. In neighboring Algeria, which has 48 coronavirus cases, officials announced they will be suspending all flights to France from Tuesday. And the Prime Minister of Libya's internationally recognized government also announced the closure of the country's airspace and land border from today. On to something else now. We talk about the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, which continues insisting that its national president, Professor Maurice Kamto, survived an assassination attempt in Garoua in the north region of the country. The government has dismissed that information, indicating that the soldier who is accused of having attempted to assassinate Professor Maurice Kamto was simply on an intelligence gathering mission. Professor Maurice Kamto was on a tour of the northern regions of Cameroon, and he visited the family of the vice president of the CRM political party, Mamadou Mota, who is still being detained at the Kondengi maximum security prison in connection to what the government qualifies as prohibited public protest. We have details in this report.
It was an uncontrollable crowd that waited for the arrival of the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM party, Professor Maurice Kamto, at the residence of Mohamedou Yakuba Mota at the Ziling neighborhood of Marwa 1 municipality, with messages like "Justice for Mamadou," "Let there be change in peace," and "No to the war in the northwest and southwest region." The militants sang songs of victory to wait for Professor Maurice Kamto. His arrival was well greeted by several motorcycles that led the way and horses. At the residence of the first vice president, Professor Maurice Kamto says he came to comfort the family of Mamadou Mota.
Je suis là aujourd'hui pour vous dire que Mota n'est pas seul.
I came to visit his family, and I'm telling you this day that neither Mota or his family have been abandoned and will be left alone.
Notre premier vice-président. Mais nous ne ménageons aucun effort en dehors des procédures judiciaires.
A group of 20 lawyers are defending our first vice president. No effort is being left aside to see that he is free.
Comme Sibalus, Moutaga et d'autres retrouvent rapidement la liberté. J'espère.
Soon, I will be here again with him. And that the day he will come for a political rally, Marwa won't be in one piece. When I am coming here for a political gathering, Marwa will be shaken. I will never fail you. The wife of Mohamedou Yakubu Mota was honored with Kamto's visit. I feel so honored with his presence, and I am assured that my husband is in good hands. Not too long from now, he will join us again. The population of Marwa are now waiting to see the return of Professor Maurice Kamto with his first vice president, Mamadou Yakubu Mota, in the days ahead.
Paul Eric Kingi, mayor of Njombe, Pinja, and Kwate Wambo, Guy Mesmin, mayor of the Lum municipality, have been called upon by magistrates of the Mbanga Court of First Instance to work for the development of their respective municipalities. The call was made during their oath-taking ceremony. Immaculate Fogwe.
Mayors of Lum and Jombe Penja in the Mungo division, Littoral region of Cameroon, during their oath-taking ceremony at the Banga Court of First Instance, say they won't welcome any form of interference as far as managing the affairs of their councils is concerned.
Il faut que Yaoundé me laisse travailler.
I need Yaoundé to let me do my work. I need civil servants to let me do my work. I know how to read and apply the law. The law on decentralization gives us power. This same law gives us the competence we deserve. Article 18 says the competence transferred to mayors are exclusive. From now henceforth, I'm calling on those heading the country to let me do my work.
Aux gens, à ceux qui dirigent ce pays, de me laisser travailler.
Aujourd'hui, avec les mentalités.
Today, with the mentalities we have in our country, the functions of the mayor becomes extremely difficult because he faces opposition. So, I think it's normal for magistrates to take the opportunity to advise everyone. We are going to definitely heed to the advice. We think it's urgent for us to respect this decentralization law. Inhabitants of the area expressed delight with the election of the different mayors. According to some of them, positive results will be the outcome.
Nous, le peuple de Penja, nous voulons le bon travail. Nous savons qu'il va travailler.
The newly elected mayors have 5 years each to put to action all what they promised the population while they were on campaign.
Talking Point is up next. Thanks for staying with us in Talking Point. We are receiving Barrister Achu Julius, militant of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party, and Tayon Elvis, militant of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party. Barrister, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Tayon, you're welcome.
Thanks very much, Babila Jonathan, and thanks to the thousands of televiewers who are watching us right now.
Barrister, the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, REDAC, is determined to drag the Minister of Territorial Administration to court over accusations of 5 billion francs CFA that is said to have been given to REDAC and other NGOs to destabilize Cameroon and so on. What do you think about this? You listen to Barrister Aliscom.
I would like to first of all say that Barrister Aliscom is a learned senior I respect very much, and we are in a democracy, and she has a right to go to court if she feels she's been deprived of certain rights or prerogatives, or if some words have been used or some accusations have been made which she doesn't find it funny, to go to court. I just think that she was not only barely threatening, well, I'm sure we were waiting that she should go to court to show that what was said was false or not true, or what was said was true or not false. So at the end of the day, I want her and I expect her to go to the end of what she's been saying, because all of us are very curious, and knowing fully well who the Minister of Territorial Administration is, and know he's some guy who doesn't mince his words. And don't forget, he's in charge, he's the permanent secretary of the Security Council. So it means he has information that no normal man can have. So I think there's going to be some tough time in court if Barrister Aliscom decides to go ahead with what she's said so far. But we are patiently waiting, and take note, it's a right to go to court.
What do you think about the accusations of plans to destabilize Cameroon, that the NGOs want to destabilize Cameroon, REDAC and the others?
You see, the first thing is that yes, the army may have committed some atrocities. Yes, it's possible, but do balanced reporting. Look, I would prefer balanced reporting when it comes to such issues, that these other people have done this or that. But when it comes to humanitarianism, I expect NGOs to first of all ensure that those victims who are suffering out of atrocities from whoever are taken care of. I should have expected that an NGO like REDAC should have a home, or should have a house, or should have some financial capability to make sure that those kids whose homes were burnt, those people whose homes were burnt, and who are suffering, who is alleged to be suffering, are being taken care of. I would have liked to hear that they went to the hospital to take care of that pregnant woman whose baby came out, to pay her hospital bills or whatever. To me, that's more humanitarian, rather than shouting all the time that the atrocities, which is equally good. But once you do such things like taking care of the living, which is more visible, that is what I believe in. That's what makes me credible. That's what will make them credible to somebody like me. Because whether you like it or not, the way the North, West, and South regions are, anything can happen at any time, because we don't understand what's going on at a certain point in time. We don't understand why certain things are happening in a certain way.
Tayon Elvis, when citizens begin to drag government authorities, top government authorities to court, what do we read within the lines?
Well, I think the simple thing we read between the lines is that there is some lack of credibility on the parts of the government somewhere along the line. Because, when we had people, for example, there is a particular comportment that we put in place such that people who look up to us as administrators should be able to believe what comes from us, from our utterances. I've been able to watch that keenly. I don't know if Barrister will always be honest in that aspect to address it as it's supposed to be squarely. But I think that in a government that is not kangaroo as per se, it means in a proactive government, when you have issues and proofs of destabilization, you don't say it in the air and allow it, because action comes immediately. I cannot sit here, for example, a minister.
The minister was issuing warnings, telling them toe the line, or action will follow.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that the statement has question marks somewhere, because if, as per se, these organizations have proofs of 5 billion or whatever coming in to destabilize, we're talking about state security. And the minister, Tanganji, is the secretary of the National Security Council, where we are. So I think that on a normal condition, if that allegation was true as per se, they will be arrested in the first place. You cannot jeopardize state security and go free. So there are some kinds of crimes and their gravity that you don't need to be warned. If you jeopardize the security and money already comes in, because we're talking about 5 billion. 5 billion can buy a lot of weapons. 5 billion can do so many things. We're not talking about 5,000 francs. We're talking about 5 billion francs CFA. And that money enough, if it is true, as the Minister of the Interior says, it's not supposed to end at utterance. It means that before they even give utterances, they are supposed to have suspended the NGOs, they are supposed to have apprehended all those concerned and put in custody, since as he says he has proofs. But now there's mere utterances. Come on, let's take things serious. You know, we are not in a country where we have children. People to alert them, people could follow steps, development steps of issues. So national security, those utterances doesn't resemble something which is true. I'm very sorry to say so.
Mere utterances, but the warnings were quite serious.
Yeah, they could be serious the way they are presented, but what I'm saying is that once national security is at stake, you cannot go on utterances. If the security of the state is threatened and there are proofs, it moves with immediate action. There is no country that will have those kind of proofs and gives warnings and stay put. It means the warnings have question mark. It means what has been altered has question mark. That's why I said, let us have a system that deals with a lot of assurance. Credibility is at stake. And because the organizations doubt the utterances of the minister, which goes a long way to doubt his credibility, they decide to take the bull by the horn. As we say, we are in a state that has rule of law, to move on, which is very correct. Just as Barrister said, it is their right, it's their fundamental right to go to court if they want to go. Very correct. But when you hear a country, when you hear groups of individuals dragging a particular minister to court, there is a question mark. And I don't think that with Metro Aliscom, that we know, even our senior barrister here knows very well, we'll be able to have a press conference and give that kind of utterance and it ends at the level of the press conference. I don't think so. The kind of cannibal people I see in Redac, it means that they will go, they better move and let the court throw the issue out, since as without the judicial system we even have. But
you're a journalist and a political analyst, and you've been closely following up what has been happening in the country as far as the Anglophone crisis and other national issues are concerned. When you look at what these organizations have been doing, the Network of Human Rights Defenders in Central Africa, Human Rights Watch in their reports, even the humanitarian arm of the United Nations, OCHA, where is the plan to destabilize Cameroon?
Well, the plan to destabilize Cameroon can better be explained by the person who gave that statement, who made the utterance, if we talk about plan to destabilize. Because when all NGOs get into a country, they are being monitored. First, they have accreditation. And with the accreditation, the activities are being monitored. Even before they move to a particular area, they take permission from the local authorities in that area. That's why United Nations cannot come here overnight and move to a particular area without taking permission from the authorities in that area. Meaning that, and when they take that authority, permission from the area, it is from a DO, SDO, the information is relayed back to the governor and relayed back to the territorial administration to understand the operations on the ground. Now, when we say destabilized, it means that the state or the Minister Tangaji is telling us that maybe they came illegally or so. But then, the state has priority, as I said.
No, the problem of the government is that they're inflating figures, they are inflating facts, and with other intentions other than what they're supposed to be doing within the framework of their duties.
Well, you understand that NGOs have what they call the relay informations. And NGOs, when they pick information on the ground, they have double role. Even those that go in to give humanitarian activities, they also pick information at the same time. That's what people have not yet understood. When you find humanitarian organizations going somewhere, they either relay information or they carry out the charity part while interviewing people and getting information which they relate to the donors. After all, wherever they are, they have board of directors, they have those who fund those organizations who need to be briefed on day-to-day updates concerning the activities where they are.
Well, Barrister, should government always be on the offensive, rejecting reports, rejecting all the facts and figures coming from these organizations, and telling them that they are planning to destabilize Cameroon, or accusing them of planning to destabilize Cameroon?
The government is not always on the offensive. Get that straight. There are so many humanitarian organizations in Cameroon, and the government has been particularly uncertain because, first of all, the law says you should send your reports to the Ministry of Territorial Administration. None of them does. Secondly, you get information from the rebels and you relay it as if it is true. You don't cross-check with the government. What do you want the government to do? To be clapping to you? You see, Jonathan, when it comes to such things, a government takes its time. And once the government comes out, like what the Bina did, the Ministry of Territorial has done, no, there's something underneath. And when there's something underneath, I'm not a prophet of doom or like saying things that I don't know, but I know that as a security chief of this country, because he's the permanent secretary of the Security Council, he knows more than you and me. What he knows as information, you and me, we don't know. Until that time comes. That time will come. But you see again, if you read the report of the United Nations arm of humanitarian arm of United Nations, it is very different from what the Human Rights Watch is writing. It's very different from what maybe Redac is writing. I've never seen Redac or Human Rights Watch say the government has done something good. Why should the government be caressing them? They have never written something to say government has done something good here or there. Government has saved some people who were kidnapped. Or the government has made some schools that are going on. Or the military has given medicines to some schools. Or military people are teaching in schools and things like that. They have never said that. But they always say that when the rebels do something, that's what they publish. If you are a member of the government, what will you think? You think that is fair reporting? It's not objective. And why should I believe in somebody who's one-sided? Because when you are one-sided, it means you are biased.
But they have also been reporting attacks on government forces, on soldiers on the ground.
Those two organizations, I've never seen any of them attacking something which has been done by the other parties.
They have been condemning attacks on soldiers in the two Anglophone regions of the country, in particular. Allegrosi recently talked about the issue that happened in Galim, in the west region of the country. The attack where 4 elements of the National Armed Forces were killed.
It's good to say recently, they've been here for more than, that thing has been going on for more than 3-4 years today. If it's recently, then it's a good thing that they are now changing their style of preparing reports. At first, it never used to be like that. It was as if there was the communication arm of the rebellion, because everything that the rebellion does, everything the army does against rebellion was bad, and they were never reporting anything good the army has done. To me, as an observer, an independent observer, I would expect that organizations like that give balanced reporting, in the sense that whatever is bad this way you say this, what is bad good this way, and whatever, and vice versa. One-sided.
Balanced reporting. Recently, the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, was reportedly or allegedly attacked, or he survived an assassination attempt, according to the CRM political party in Garwa, in the north region of the country. And government says it wasn't an assassination attempt, but the soldier who is accused was on an intelligence gathering mission. What do you think about what happened? You have seen the images, you have seen the incident. What do you think about what happened there?
The first image I saw was an embassy man holding a gun. I never saw that young man or the military man holding a gun in any case. I was not there. But I know I have a license to carry a gun. So it means whenever you see me with my gun, I'm coming towards you, am I coming to shoot at you? That is first. Or you see me going to the farm with my cutlass and you start getting scared. Professor Kamto is a personality. And everything that happens around him is of public interest. Whether you like it or not, anything that happens around Professor Kamto is of public interest. And if it's of public interest, the government has an obligation to make sure that security-wise everything is fine. Let me tell you something. Some other person can now shoot at him and who will be blamed? They will say it's the government. Meanwhile, there are guys who were there only to protect him and nothing else. But you see, I don't want to get involved in security concerns because I'm not a specialist. All of us who try to want to say what the intent of the government was, are trying to dwell on a domain which they don't master. First of all, if you take that pistol now, whose fingerprints are on it? The guys of MRC. They were not even supposed to touch the pistol. If you want to bring evidence that he was there to kill, you were not supposed to touch it to show that arm belongs to this man. He's the one holding them. But in any case, did that guy shoot or remove his gun to shoot anybody? I don't know.
Tayon Elvis, why do you continue insisting that it was an assassination attempt?
Well, it's a good question that televiewers need to watch and get the first-hand information, which is very clear. Now, when you look at it, this is the second, because we have another one at Dibamba, that's on the 26th of February, when Professor Maurice Kamto was on board, and of course that one was shots fired in the air by security forces in that area. Yeah, in the air. In the air. I said in the air. We don't know whether it was directed in which direction, but you will not wait for someone to pass where he is, and you are firing before calling for attention. That one is that one. That's an attempt, because we don't know what necessitated that one only at the time he was passing. Let me get back to the crux of the matter out there at Far North region at them. Now you realize that let's leave politics aside and get things straight. If the state is offering security, probably to President-elect Professor Maurice Kamto, we think that it is something that should be in a way that should not jeopardize his livelihood.
Government said the soldier was on an intelligence gathering.
Yeah, that's what the government says. That's what the government says.
That they were on an intelligence gathering assignment.
Yes, let me come. You realize now that in the course of that, we call that an assassination attempt, because when they were on motorcades running towards the vehicle where the president-elect was inside, when they approached the vehicle, the first one, the guy was apprehended, was removed his gun, not the worst even. This is for some information I'm giving you. And of course, we have carried out a communication by a communication officer report on that, and pointing at towards the vehicle before the guys were smart to come down. Now let me tell you, if these guys was on security issues, probably to protect and what an intelligence gathering, one, is Professor Maurice Kamto a criminal? No. Why would they not send police officers officially with military personnel? Secondly, when they were apprehended, one of them even escaped. The two even escaped. They had to lay hands on the other guy before taking him down to the governor's office. Now you realize that the way the scenarios took part shows that there was a lot of intention, because they started tracing their movements even before they came right closer to the vehicle with the pistol. It tells you that the intention was there. It's just that it was foiled at the time. I am sorry when we sit here and say that they were just for intelligence gathering. The intention of it was not very clear, and that's why we think that the state that has all it takes should be able to put in place a proper investigation and not deceive us that he was just there to guide us. If not, they should send official police and gendarme officers who should be sent to accompany the national president. That's what it's supposed to be.
Whatever the case, the government has said the soldiers were on intelligence gathering, and we are caught up by time. We're going to be running up here. But before we go, just in some few seconds, Barrister, what do you think about the management of the coronavirus in Cameroon? Few seconds.
To me, it's very timid. They ought to have banned flights coming to Cameroon like other countries do, and quarantine and some sort of stop public gatherings for at least 2 weeks, because we have the African League Championship coming up in the month of May. We have to make sure that Cameroon is safe and clean of this virus. And to do it, we need 2 weeks off the road. Everybody stay at home, as it's been done all over.
All right.
Well, the government, we're getting now to the fifth case, and I think that the government is not still serious putting in place precautionary measures. We have not seen them training health personnel officially, and even giving general health talks for the population to know how to dictate, how to deal with when they come across those cases. So I think that the tour we make round, talking about fifth case, is not yet solving the problem. If care is not taken, we might fall into real deep shit. The government should sit up and do what it's supposed to do in terms of putting in place awareness.
Tayon Elvis, journalist, political analyst, member of the CRM political party, Barrister Achu Julius, member of the Cameroon Bar Association and militant of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tayon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.
Prophet Joseph.